Well. Interesting morning. I'm assuming that's what the chat is all going to be about from the get go. What's good, Money Mike's? Hello, Azir. I have not thought that. Don't abandon Xavi and Hato deals. Would you pivot from our transfer targets and going all in for Isak? Fans are stupid. If Liverpool have already done the groundwork, don't need Isak. Paul are ready to bid. Yeah, the wages is a big thing. Apparently, he wanted 300k to stay at Liverpool, so really stretching the Coutinho money. Yes. This is the only way that I could see something like this happening, and we'll quickly brush over it. This is more of a stream to speak about different lineups with what I think is more likely, which is obviously the Hato and Simmons deals. But of course, for the first sort of 10-15 minutes of this stream, I'm willing to answer all the questions and go through the obvious big news about Isak, because wow. Robbie's saying he just woke up. What's the interesting news? Alexander Isak has actually asked to leave Newcastle officially, properly. The timing of it for me is really weird. Joel Jason saying he's here early for once. Hello, Reese. And everybody do what Money Mike's saying here. Please do drop a like. Let's get them really quickly up as soon as possible. Start the stream as many likes as we can, because then it helps the algorithm and helps to bring people in. So everybody drop a like. Go from there. But yeah, going off of all these sort of things, it's interesting, isn't it? Because XCK's now moved. Gyökeres has now gone to Arsenal. And obviously, we've gone for Delap and João Pedro, who were both targets for Newcastle. And now, all of a sudden, now he's asking to leave. Now, I do think that there's no way he'd force this move if he didn't think this is still possible. If I was to predict what's going to happen, and again, it's a very safe prediction. I don't think it's outlandish to say this. I think he ends up at Liverpool, because I think that if they sell Núñez, there's some sort of scope for it. It's ridiculous money, but I just think, it's going to be one of those things where he's going to end up there. XTK can play off the left. Isak can play off the left. You can play him as split strikers, and it gives you so much tactical flexibility, but also just two ridiculous strikers in terms of turning sort of low XG chances into high XG chances. They are like Isak and baby Isak playing together. It'd be nuts. It'd be absolutely nuts. Thank you, Govind. That's really nice to hear. Watching Tactics Talk with a cup of coffee. That's the aim, I think, with streams like this, because I've sort of got that sort of thing that I do when I wake up. Is I'll sit and have a drink and watch one of my favorite sort of streamers, or usually YouTube videos to catch up on and whatnot. So very nice to hear that it's something that people do here, because that's obviously the aim. I mean, let's touch on this, because where's it gone? Because I think it's the obvious chat to have, essentially. Now, yes, this is feasible. This would work. Okay. Really quickly, let's just do it on the tactics board really quick, because it's really easy to sort of speak about. Now, at the minute, you've got Delap, Jackson, João Pedro as those attackers, and you're trying to add Simmons. That, for me, quite good balance. You've got a hybrid attacker. João Pedro can do a bit of everything. He can be that forward, which, again, he'll probably start quite a lot, but he can also float around in these other areas too. However, if you cut the deal for Xavi Simmons and João Pedro becomes that role, where, again, he can play off the wing in here, he can still be the third striker, and you do a deal where Jackson goes to Newcastle, Isak comes to Chelsea, of course this is feasible, because now João Pedro is essentially the Simmons, and instead you have replaced that striker spot with Isak. So your two main strikers, you have Isak as obviously your number one if you're going to spend that sort of money, Delap as your number two, and then you'd have João Pedro as that, basically just full-time being what Simmons was going to be in terms of fluidity and sort of a hybrid piece, right? However, Azir is saying financially it's not feasible, and I do think with him asking for about 300k a week, and the fact Liverpool are probably willing to pay quite high wages for him because they're so set on him even before Ekitike, and they're offering like really high sort of fees for him. So I think the wages wouldn't be an issue there for them because they're also paying Ekitike ridiculous money as well. I just don't know if he'd fit into our wage structure as well. So I think on top of all of that, Chelsea are unlikely to do it because they would probably think that including the fee, including everything, they're probably better off in their minds letting Isak go to Liverpool, still going ahead with the Simmons deal because again, better wages, better scope, and then maybe even trying to sell Jackson for an inflated fee to Newcastle. That is probably what I think will be in Chelsea's directors' heads in terms of trying to sort of stretch the money and put their business heads on, essentially. But of course, all the fans and sort of like the really quick, like what you want to jump to, of course, is, oh, Isak, Jackson, something could happen there. So I think that's about it in terms of that. Let's get rid of Isak because, again, I don't want to fool people into thinking I actually think it's going to happen. Let's really quickly check the likes. 18. We've got 50 people in here already after 5 minutes of starting. So can we get that to 50 straight away? I'll refresh that in a few minutes just to check. We're on 18. Let's get that to 50 straight off the bat. That would be ideal. Zach saying his head's spinning. This summer window has been absolutely nuts. And like Demonat just said, yes, about the wages as well, I agree. Jackson's price, you could get more out of him for this because I do think, I said this before, I think if Isak leaves Newcastle, Ekitike and Jackson, they are like the exact sort of players that Newcastle should be looking to replace with. Yeah, I agree, Zach. I think a lot of teams will be able to get at them in transition. It depends. I think Slot this year he's depending a little bit more on overall work ethic to defend transition rather than sort of having the exact base shape at all times. Because I think that, again, with the fullbacks sort of pushing on a bit higher, he's got fullbacks that have more recovery pace than they did last year. And I think the midfielders are going to maybe sit a little bit deeper. But again, you've got a lot of hard-working midfielders, Sobosai, McAllister, Curtis Jones, Gravenberch, obviously not all playing at the same time. But I do think they're going to be sort of working off of collective effort rather than a specific base shape. So excited for the league this year. I'm making a video about it on my... So I am going to split the channels. I've already made the other channel. So what I might do is quickly link it in here because I'd really appreciate if you guys could all go over there and sub. The reason I've gone for this sort of decision is I put out a Rashford video yesterday and I was already, I think if people follow me on Twitter, I was already debating this. I've been debating it for a while. And the Rashford video, like in comparison to my Chelsea videos that are just doing so well, and I'm like so happy with the sort of scope that they're getting. And it is like my focus is always going to be on those Chelsea videos. I think that you can see like the difference in performance. So I was thinking if I could build an audience elsewhere where I can do other videos and bring my other sort of like, because again, I work on a daily basis. I write about all other teams. My daily job isn't just Chelsea. This is more, my YouTube is based off of Chelsea and like my Twitter and everything is better on Chelsea content. But my day-to-day work is all teams. It's not just Chelsea. So I want to be able to show that on YouTube as well. But again, I'm very appreciative of the Chelsea base we've built. So I'm going to quickly link the channel. If you could subscribe to this and any support on this channel would be greatly appreciated. Again, just because I'm going to be uploading, it won't be anywhere near as much on this. Like this channel will remain the main channel. This channel will have close to daily content, whereas the other channel will be a couple a week, maybe. Joel Mason, my day work is so it would be like writing an analysis for sort of outlets, different people, different sort of. It's hard to describe, but like it's essentially freelance content and analysis, and yeah, club work and all sorts. So there's a lot of different things that sort of I look to do day to day, but it is freelance based and it's all football scouting based. So yeah, scouting, match analysis, opposition analysis, written work, everything. So But it's not just on Chelsea; it's on every club, and it's whatever I'm asked to do, right? But then I bring that sort of knowledge that I've gathered, and I want to make that into being one of the better Chelsea content creators using that. So, yeah, thank you everybody that's saying big up and subscribe and all that stuff. Would it be better to first build up the channel and then create another channel? I agree with that, Demonat. The only reason I've done this is because, like I say, I think it's hard to build up this my main channel. Like I say, this is the main channel. I'm not scoping away from that. This will be the main channel. The other one will be a side project. It won't take over from this. Yes, I had also thought about this, but do you think changing the name would be confusing? Because this is something I was like thinking about. Changing it to Connor Holden Chelsea, I agree, but do you not think that would confuse things? Because this has been Connor Holden football since the start. It's hard to say because like I said, professional analyst is working within a club, and that is something I have done. But yeah, I agree with that, Zach. But right now it's sort of like doing it freelance. So it is, but it's not within one club, if that makes sense. It's like consultancy and like work like that more so, if you want to sort of put it into like a category. So yeah, I think we're going to see, if you're going to change the name, I'd reckon do it once you got a bit. Yeah, I agree with that as well. So yeah, this is going to remain the main channel, and I just think that it will be better to split them and just focus on really good Chelsea videos that continue to do well, because the momentum we've been getting on the Chelsea videos has been nuts. So continue to grow that, make this the main aim, and then yeah, go over to there. Because again, speaking about that, the Xavi Simons video is nearly about 8k views already, and then today at the sort of in the evening today, it will be the Hato video, which I'm already worked on, so that will come out as well. So we got a lot of stuff going on. Just quickly refreshing. Let's see. Pardon me. 31 we're on, so 42 viewers, 31 likes. Let's get that up as much as possible. Right, what were we going to do? Okay. Any other questions about Isak or little bits like that? And if we are done with that, then I think we're going to move on to things like this. I do, Zach. I think he goes to Liverpool. We're going to move on to sort of how I think the team would line up with Hato and Xavi. Going to really quickly check as well, actually, just to make sure nothing's happened in the last... I'm sure somebody would have said if something had happened, but just to quickly check. Cool. One more before we talk Chelsea. Yeah, go for it. What's the question? Did I study football? So I think I should do like a little sort of intro to this channel so that people actually know my background, to like whether they want to believe me or not, essentially. So I'll really quickly go over it again. Played academy football growing up. Played for Cambridge United. And again, played that sort of stuff. Then in uni, I went into coaching after that. Then I went to uni to do sports coaching and sports science. And then I took my sort of dissertation year and focus and switched it to performance analysis, where I went into that. And then after that, of course, once I'd graduated, then it was to look into doing club work. And then I sort of made the decision not to go into full-time club work, but to take that knowledge that I'd built and bring it more so into the content side, so that I could cover a wider breadth of clubs, and also my club, Chelsea, rather than being stuck working for one club and in like the EFL, for example. That was like in my mind. That's why I took the choice I did. But yes, I did. In uni, it's performance analysis, so it's not football like as such. Like you learn coaching in other sports as well. And then performance analysis was that was more football based because I chose that. But yeah, personally think Isak should go Madrid. Yeah, if Rodrigo leaves, that could be a shout. Zabani is class, yeah, but I think he's going to go PSG. Right, we're going to cut the... I could see it. Viva Jack, I could. Or Viva J. Yeah, I could see it. Right, we're going to cut the chats for about 10 minutes now, because I'm just going to have like a little section where I go on the tactics boards, We're going to speak about a few different teams that we could see with this. But as Kalia says here, please do like the video, like the stream whilst we're going through that. We're on 58 viewers, 35 likes. Can we at least get that to 50 by the time we've ended this little segment, which I'm going to go through? We're going to go through 4 different lineups that we could see next season with Hato and Simmons involved. It doesn't mean that they'll be in every team, and we're going to try and caveat each one. But yeah, please do leave a like. Let's get to 15. Right. First team that we're going to speak about. Now, of course, off the ball. Now, this does have Gusto overlapping, but again, this would be this off the ball. This is something we spoke about the other day in the Simmons video, but it would be Palmer playing on the right with an overlapping right back as the main sort of system of the game, and how we're setting up. Now, Hato at left back in this scenario is, again, I've just put him in because I want to speak about some possible sort of lineups with them both in the team. Of course, this could easily be Cucurella, and it works just the same. But essentially, as you just saw a minute ago, Gusto would be the overlapper. So you've got 2 runners in the final third with Gittins and Gusto. So again, something we spoke about on the channel is having that mixture of the runners and the creators. So you'd have obviously Simmons and Palmer in the pockets. And then you've got sort of this back 3. Now, the main reason I really like this team is I think that something to sort of touch on with the signings of Hato and Simmons, the physicality you've added on this left side of the pitch really does allow you to use Enzo in this deeper role more often, which is something a lot of people have wanted to see. Because if we just change that to say that, because we want him there, what you've done is you've added Simmons, who works hard off the ball, he's not like powerful in terms of, again, if you've watched the video, you know he's got some weakness issues in terms of like his side-to-side combat, but he will work hard and he's scrappy and intense. Hato, again, video out tonight, physical monster. So he will really well complement. He'll do really well to complement and sort of protect Enzo in that zone. Gittins as well has all the physical sort of brilliance to work up and down that line, work hard, use that to be protective on that left-hand side. So you look at all 3 of those players around Enzo for that sort of left-hand contingency, and you've got way more protection than you had last season with Sancho and Cucurella. Now, Cucurella does offer that because he can step up and really sort of be in here with Enzo. But now you've got not only that like one player with Cucurella, but you've also got a harder working winger with a bit more power and physicality, but also Simmons, who's going to work really hard in there as well in that pocket. So you've got a lot more physicality and work rate to work around Enzo in that deeper role, which I really, really like. Now, again, I think this balance is really, really good. I think you have 2 really good carriers of the ball on the outside of a block in Fofana and Hato here. Of course, it gets Cole into that central centre-back role. Enzo is more protected. Again, in certain games, if you still want even more, you can obviously put Lavia in here. That's fine. That's another option to have. And again, Enzo will be in most of these lineups and Lavia will be on the bench, like in a lot of the sort of lineups that we're talking about. But that's not to say that Lavia won't play. Like, again, it depends on form and who's playing well and the balance of the team. If we're playing against a team that we really want to be sort of safe in the middle of the park, and Maresca, again, we've seen him say it last season, at times he values that physicality in midfield, then we could see that. We could even see Reece James in midfield again, like this, with no Enzo in the team. So there's so many different options with what we could see sort of as that base midfield. But the idea being that left centre-back, Hato and Simmons there. Now, let's move on to the second option, which is another option we sort of mentioned the other day, which is a bit more of a rotational option on that left-hand side. Now, this would mean Cole is playing more as that left centre-back. So in this instance, you'd probably have Toss in as that central centre-back rather than someone like Wes. This would allow someone like Reece to play as a right centre-back, maybe more suited than playing that overlapping role in terms of for his body. Again, this could be different, but for the way that we're going to talk about this system, it would make sense to have Enzo here because you've got players who can all replace each other. Now, again, of course, like Enzo doesn't want to be wide, but the rotations and IQ between these 3 players could really work well in terms of rotating positions and adding that zone replacement, which we've spoke about in the past. Now, my key thing here would be that is a little bit deeper. Hato can make those bursting runs. Simmons can as well. But this would be one that I maybe want to use someone like Delap or Jackson in, because they can make those channel runs to open it up. And again, you've got a runner in Neto. So your two runners more so are your right winger and your striker in this system. Now, the other way of looking at this would be to, again, switch the dynamics from this left side being the zone replacement type. Again, Simmons, Hato. Watch the Simmons and Hato's videos if you want to know like the qualities that they have to be able to play the roles, whether that's in this half space, whether that's attacking the byline on the outside of a block, or even sort of dropping into these inverted roles. Do make sure you check out those videos because they will give you a little bit more insight into how their qualities help. But where's the third one? Here. You can also switch the dynamics round. So again, you've got Gittins now, who's going to be that more sort of attacking, that more of that runner. And again, this is one where you could do it with João Pedro, but again, this could be Delap to offer you a secondary runner who can run into that right space. But now, on this instance, you're playing with an inverted fullback instead of an overlapping fullback, so you've actually started two wingers. If you've got Esteval in here, now that would probably mean Simmons won't play. A lot of people have sort of been speaking about the idea of having Simmons, Palmer, and Esteval as that three behind the striker. And I do think that there's some occasions that could work because, of course, you could have Gusto overlapping on the right or a left back overlapping on the left. And you could start somebody like Delap up front, and that could be your main outlet runner, and everybody else is sort of tight and trying to keep the ball. That could work in games where you're really trying to sort of keep the ball, and I'm not saying it will never happen. But I do think there's a lack of sort of ability to stretch the pitch with that. And that's not to say Esteval can't do that, but I think he's more inclined again to sort of drop in and connect. So that's why I've sort of gone for, if Esteval is going to play with Palmer, then Simmons maybe wouldn't play. Maybe Palmer would be rested. Maybe Simmons would play with Esteval, vice versa. But I think two of them at any one time is enough in terms of those ball-to-feet creators. And again, like I say, Esteval can adapt. He could be that runner and like he could make those runs in behind and be more of that outlet goal scorer for you. But I do think you want to use him in a different way. So like I say, you've got Delap and you've got Gittins as those runners. And now you've got that zone replacement. Like we spoke about on the left side with Enzo, Enzo, Simmons, Hato. What you now have is Palmer, Esteval, and James. And what this allows to do is Palmer can come out wide to receive, which again, we've saw him do to very good effect, coming out to the wing, getting on the ball and being able to sort of put balls into the box and create that little bit of extra space for himself. You also now allow Esteval to get in that pocket, but also Reece can sort of push forward and attack that space at times. And Palmer can even drop in deeper to create from deep, which again is something that a lot of people don't like, but I do quite like about Palmer because I think he has the ability to sort of just pick out anything that he wants. I just think his ability to pick passes is just second to none. So that is another option when you have that sort of zone replacement-esque ability on this side. Now, again, that doesn't mean that would happen as much. But I just think that having those profiles in rotation, like I say, you can switch it from left to right and have those triangular rotations on either side. And I do think that is very important. Now, the third option we're going to speak about is, again, it's one that we've seen a bit already. But again, it would be with Simmons instead of Nkunku. And it was one that we used in the Club World Cup. And again, it's the 3-1-6. It's a bit of a diamond at times. Obviously, it could be like this. It can be more sort of three in the pockets. I really like this against low blocks. And I'm going to say why. Firstly, I really like it when Cole is in this central position because it allows him to double up on either side. And I think that it just works really well for him. And again, he can drop into that pocket alongside Casado. It just has really, really good rotational sort of benefit for Cole Palmer. Simmons, again, gets him into this zone. He would be starting on the left in this scenario. So the overlapping left back, again, Kukurea or Hato. So I'll put it as Kukurea here, but this could be Hato as well. That would open up the space for Simmons to play in that pocket of space there. Enzo in this case would be on the right. So that again is more so because the overlapping fullback is on the left. So to have him in the pocket, it would just make sense to have him here because obviously if he was playing on the left, then it would be Palmer here, Simmons here, which of course could work, and it still does work because Simmons being in that central position. But like I say, there's reasons that I like Palmer in that central position. So probably makes more sense to do it in this way, but you could see lots of rotation in that between the three pocket players. Casado in there on his own, and then again, you're probably going to have the back three like this, if you're overlapping the left back, so that you can have, say, Toss in instead of Fofana. But if you're overlapping the right back, of course, you can switch it. And there is also the opportunity, which we'll speak about, especially against back fives. Maybe that is where you see Cole will start as the right centre back and Hato as the left centre back. And you have it somewhat like this, because then you've got the physicality and somebody who, again, you've got carriers on the outside of the block who can, against lower block teams who are going to sit back. You've got players who can carry it forward themselves, and they can also be aggressive to sort of pin teams in. So this could be something that we see where Hato does get some centre back minutes. It could be in more of a situation like this. So of those 3 or 4 lineups that we spoke about, which is your favourite? Let's just sort of go from there. I'm going to go back to the first one, and I'll sort of answer any questions that we've got on all the systems that we spoke about. But I just think there's so much to be done with it. Hato behind Enzo when he's in the pivot raises the physical floor of the team as well. Could make Maresca more inclined to drop Enzo deeper. Yeah, exactly, Zach. Like I said, for this system here, look at the physicality that you've added around Enzo on that left-hand side. It's perfect. I saw this and it nearly threw me off my rhythm. Where has this come up? West Ham interested in Jackson. Surely they're not going to be able to pay that. And also Alexander Isak. Oh no, that was from the other day about the 300k a week. Where is this? 316 is the best. It's game dependent. Like, you're not going to do that against like City, for example. But yes, it is. I do like it a lot against teams that you're really sort of going to control. Yeah, 316 moves me. It is a really good system to have in your locker. And one that we'll see against teams that we're really looking to dominate. Pushing for a lone props. Who, Jackson? And yeah, exactly. It depends on what team we're playing. But that's what's so brilliant of what we've got. Yeah, send me that over, Zach, if you can. But yeah, it's just so many options. Where else do we have? I'm really excited to see that option with Gittins on the left, Palmer, Esteban changing on the right. So yeah, something. Again, there's so much you can do with the attack. What are Hato's main weaknesses and how coachable are they? Video is out tonight, so I'm not going to touch too much on the specifics with Hato because I've got a bumper video exactly like the Simmons one, same format. We've got a big sort of what's the word? Presentation type thing where I've got all the data and things I want to show you. And then we'll use the tactics board to speak about a few of his strengths as well. So that will be out tonight later on the channel, so don't miss that. So many different profiles, exactly. And it's exactly what we missed last season. I kept saying the reason we couldn't be as flexible as we wanted to be is because we didn't have the profiles to change things up. We had too many profiles of similar, that gave you similar attributes, not enough that gave you different attributes. But now, just imagine we keep Delap, Jackson and João Pedro. All 3 can offer different things up front. Simmons offers something different in the pocket to Enzo, who offers something different. You got Gittins and Simmons who offer different things on the wing. Esteval and Neto offer different things on the wing. Even like, again, Cucurella and Hato and the full Andre Santos. There's just so much. Gusto and Reese. There's just so much stuff that you can do with this team now. Zach's just sent it to me. I'm going to have a quick look. West Ham are interested in Nicholas Jackson, Matt Law. I guess they've got the Kudus money, but even then, like, that was 55 million. I just don't get it, Jack. I don't get it. I don't think they'll be able to pay for him. And then people are saying loan, but like, why would we loan him out? I just don't see why that would be feasible for us. Like I say, I think he should stay. Yeah, they need. We actually don't really. Like, we do, but Jackson isn't one of those. Like Nkunku, Felix, Vega, perhaps Dewsbury Hall, Dazassi. Like, they're the sales, aren't they? Exactly. Yeah. Obviously Bowen, but like, that's it really in terms of a goal scoring winger. Palmer needs rest. Who in 10? Enzo, Simmons, or Esteval? Again, literally any of the 3 based on the game, which is what's nuts. You could make a case for any of the 3. Simmons probably most likely, but you could definitely give the other 2 minutes in the 10, depending on where other players are playing. So like, Palmer is now also just really well backed up. And I think that's what's brilliant about the squad depth that we have now. Last year, it was more numbers and like positional squad depth. Like we had 2 left centre backs, we had 2 right centre backs. But I think this season we have genuine quality in areas to have 2 in each area that offer different things. Why are so many teams looking for these half space players? Yeah, hybrid players is like the best way to. It's tactical flexibility for me. I've made a video about it. Have I actually made that video yet, or did I? I did a thread or something about it, like a written piece. But the hybrid players and like the importance of them now is all about tactical flexibility and being able to sort of make changes mid-game or also at the start of games without the opposite team knowing what you're doing, and also without having to make wholesale changes. So, like, let's say having someone like Simmons in the team, you can have him in multiple different roles without having to make 4 or 5 subs. So, like, it makes it all really tough to really notice and like know what's happening. So it's harder for the opposition managers to plan against and to like be proactive against. Did you see the dribble Rory Jennings was saying on TalkSport about Simmons? I literally, that is all I saw. I said it isn't exciting. That's the only bit I saw. Was there more to it than that? Because that is literally it. Don't understand why so many people want Jackson out coming off the Club World Cup, long season with Champions League. Would it not be good to have 3 reliable strikers? Yeah, I'd loan Guiu and keep Jackson. I would. I think Jackson offers something different as well. And if he's as rolled up for the league, like for it as he seems to be, and he can hone that in to being rolled up and fighting for his spot rather than being rolled up and getting red cards, I like him. I do. I still like Jackson. Yeah, fair. He seems like a nice guy, Rory. Like, but his takes obviously like they clearly sort of spark something in the Chelsea community. It does more bad than good in terms of like engagement and what it sort of brings out of other people, I'd say. But it is what it is. His opinion, isn't it? So we're going to refresh the video, the stream, whatever it is. 44. It's all right. So we're at. We're going to get you to Sanchez's chain. Yeah, we're working. We're slowly building, Zach. Slowly building. 73 people in the house. We've got 44 likes. Can we at least get that to 50? We need 6 more likes. That should be easy as. Jackson gets sold to Newcastle for like 65 million. What's the next move given Ekitike has gone? Honestly, probably just not to move for another striker, which is like, it would probably just mean Guiu stays as the 3rd choice. Yeah. That's why I'd keep Jackson though, because I'd rather that. But of course, if the money is so like, if you can't turn the money down, it ends up at like 65, 70 million, then fair. Like, I understand. Versatility of players like RJ, Cuckoo, Hato, Cole, Chalobah can allow us to play multiple systems in the same game without having to exactly that, Marcus. Exactly that. And they like a starting lineup will be harder to, even once you see the team sheet, it will be so hard to know what they're going to do. Because let's say Hato and Reece start, you're trying to figure out where that fullback is going to sort of be on the ball based upon the wingers and the attackers and how that's all going to line up. And based on the fact that we've spoke about how multifaceted all of these attackers are, it's going to be a nightmare for opposition managers and opposition analysts to really work out exactly what Chelsea are going to do on a week-to-week basis, which is only a good thing. Who are you scared of selling and comes back to bite us? Noni, but it's done. I'm less scared about him coming back to bite us purely because he's going to be playing on the left. But yeah, the thing, I would not sell Noni and Jackson. Like, I remember saying a little while ago that it's the only way that the Kudus deal would have made sense. But that's because, again, he's sort of a similar runner type. For me, if you're selling Noni and Jackson and you're bringing in Simmons, who is not a runner type, I think you're then going to be lacking a runner. So if you're going to bring in Simmons, I actually think you keep Jackson no matter what, really. Because, yeah, I just think that getting rid of both of your main runners from last season, and yes, you brought in Gittins, who brings that, so that's sort of like Noni out, Gittins in. But I wanted that last season, even if we were going to keep Noni. It would have been nice to have one on each wing as an option. Of course, Neto can bring that, and I think he will bring that more now that Esteval will bring a different side of creation. But I wouldn't sell Jackson, in short. When I tell people Chelsea play 3-3-4, 3-2-5, 3-1-6, that doesn't even do justice. Exactly, we can configure each of those formations in 3 different ways. It's nuts. Isak is available. Why not sell Jackson? Get Isak. If you're not gonna get Simmons, like I said at the start of the video, and you push João Pedro back, then perhaps. But other than that, it doesn't make as much sense with having so much. Thoughts on Garnacho? I just wouldn't. After Gittins, I just wouldn't move near him. I said I'm nowhere near as against him as other people are in terms of the player, but now I would be really against it purely because I just don't think it makes any sense now. Whereas before it made profile sense. The reason I wouldn't have gone for it before was purely based on his attitude rather than his quality. Whereas now it would be based on not only his attitude, but also just where does he play and who does he take minutes away from. I just don't like it at all now. Literally make a new tactic for every team in the league. It's nuts. It's nuts. Transfer window feels like last season's top 14s are trying to put away. Yeah, it's been crazy. Like Newcastle, Villa, like Newcastle's window is just so bad. I put a tweet out earlier. I don't know if anybody saw it. The targets they've missed: João Pedro, Delap, and Burmo, Cunha, Huijsen, which is obvious, I guess. Who are the other ones? There was others. Trafford looks like he's going to go to City. Gurhey looks like he might go to Liverpool. TK's gone to Liverpool. And then on top of about 8 or 9 transfers they've missed, they're then also losing Isak. How bad is that? Just imagine a ridiculous world where we end this window with Isak, Simmons, Hato, Diamande, the goalkeeper. It's just overload though, isn't it? With Isak and Simmons. Diamande though, with Hato as well. Two very, sorry, I got hiccups. Two ridiculous physical profiles for defenders that you can work with. No, I don't think Esper will struggle for minutes at all. I think long term he'll get that spot quite quickly. I just think this season especially, just there's no need to rush him. First 6 months, just ease him in. Like, no need to rush him. No need to put more on his back than he needs to carry. Same with Gittins, really. Just ease them both in. Yeah, long term, no issues for me. Exactly this, Finian. The fans won't even know based on the lineup who's going to be playing, like where everybody's going to be positioned, that's a good indicator that you've got the flexibility that you want. People who say we have too many players and won't make players happy with minutes, such as Simmons, are wrong. I agree with how things are at the minute. I think it's doable, but like I said, like if we was to get Isak and Simmons, and then you got João Pedro, Isak, Delap, Simmons as well. So like João Pedro then maybe starts to miss minutes. Delap maybe starts to miss minutes. I do think that becomes a bit overkill. But as things are now, the way that we're shaping up, we'll do another squad builder video next week. If Simmons and Hato get confirmed, we'll do like another video where we go through the exact squad and like maybe try and get it down to like 25, 26, sort of how we had it last time. We'll do that next week, but that could be good. Be fun to pick random players and figure out a tactic. Maybe we should do that on the stream. Maybe we should do it on the stream where everybody puts in like 11 players, not on this stream because we're getting close to the end. We'll probably go for another 15. But maybe next week in a stream, you can all give like 11 players and then we figure out like a way that it would work for balance positionally. That could be fun. I didn't really see him, Reese. I literally saw that he just didn't think he's exciting, like Zach sort of mentioned. What do they even see in Garnacho? He's a Sterling type player. Literally, there is attributes to his game and his underlying metrics in terms of his shot volume and his relentlessness to run in behind and arrive in the right areas. It is there. So like the right price, that's what they see in him, definitely, of what he can become, like a goal scoring winger. But like I say, there's just too much against his name elsewhere, especially now that you got Gittins, who I actually think is just a way higher upside for the exact same role. I think he offers the goal scoring like prowess that Garnacho can give you, but he's also just way better 1v1, way more powerful in terms of his stride and his just body composition. So 100% agree on keeping Jackson. Well, not even 100%, but what was it, 10,000 there? If SDs think we can make room for Garnacho, then we should be able to make room for Isak. Yeah, I mean, that's true. Like I say, I don't think Garnacho makes sense though. So like, I don't think either of them do if you're going to get Simmons as well. Difficult answer, but how would you spread total GA across our attack next season? Like, I don't know, because it depends who's playing, right? I think Delap can get, if he's the secondary striker, I think he can get like 8 or 9. I think Pedro again, like João Pedro, like 9 or 10. Palmer, 15 maybe with pens. Simmons maybe like 7 or 8. Enzo like 5 or 6. Gittins, it depends how much he plays, but like again 7. I just think a lot of sort of close to 10s would be really good. And then you have Palmer, and then maybe whoever the starting striker is, with your ones that are hitting like 12 plus, and like Palmer getting like 15 or whatever with pens. But I do think it's going to be quite spread, because again, there's so much versatility. Don't think he's going anywhere. Isak, I think he wants money. Yeah, 300k apparently. Do you think we still need an experienced, proven centre back? I never really thought we needed the experienced centre back, but I think it would have been nice to have, like, Gerhi was somebody I sort of toyed with the idea of quite a bit during January and stuff, purely because I think his mentality, but it's not even to do with like experience as such, it's the mentality that he brings to the team. But again, he wouldn't have been like a nailed on starter. I still think that Colwill and Fofana, if fit, is a perfect centre back sort of pairing. It's just keeping them fit. So I don't know. I would move for a centre back late in the window as an opportunity now if you're going to sign Hato, rather than I just sort of see what happens to the market for that. Because again, you've got Chalobah and Tosin, so it would have to be Chalobah leaves to even sort of go in for another centre back. Piers and Kenda next year, yeah, I know. Piers fitting in, it would be that Simmons role, like Simmons Enzo role. So let's see how he does on loan. I'm a big fan of Piers, but Kenda's is a bit easier for me because like he will play on either wing, and he is just so suited to that. And if you're talking more touchline wingers, you would then have Gittins, George, if he comes back from a loan, Kenda, Esteval again can play a bit of both, but you could say for the right, and Neto. So maybe Neto then eventually leaves. Kenda takes more of a spot in there. Neto maybe becomes a squad player, vice versa. Good way to build everyone's tactical understanding. Yeah, I agree. I think that'll be good. It'll be good fun. Who will be better? Who will have a better season, Chelsea or Arsenal? I genuinely think that's like a coin flip, really, just because I think obviously we have brilliant momentum, but I just don't know how we're going to start the season because of the Club World Cup. And I do think Arsenal will, as much as I think Jorrel wasn't the perfect fit for Arsenal, I do think he scores a good amount of goals for them and helps them in that sense. So I really don't know. Take Simmons and keep Jackson over Isak and sell Jackson. Better squad balance versus better players. So that's saying that, yeah, like you want to get Simmons instead. I think that's fair. I do think that's fair with what we've already got. Yeah, getting 20 plus, both Palmer and JP, possible. Sell back at Strasbourg. Yeah, that's what I said, Joshua. If we don't get Simmons, Sell back at Strasbourg. I think if we can get, we should upgrade right centre back. Yeah, exactly. It would have to be one of those guys go, but it is a dilemma. Do you think Enzo playing a deeper role would be his preference? Probably. And like I say, more protects around him now, but probably it would, yeah. It's a Jackson 5.0. Like I say, TK Jackson, they're all from the same mold. It's just, it's like Jackson's, he's the mold of the striker, but with less fundamentals. And then as you get like higher up, the fundamentals just improve, but the profile stays the same, if that makes sense. So you go from like Jackson to TK to Isak. And then you've even got like Omega, Tiano Barry, like these types of players. Like the profile is very similar of a lot of them, but it's just the fundamentals are like different on each, and that scales how high they can go. It's really interesting to talk about with those guys. Like again, like I made a video on XTK earlier in the month, no June maybe. This could be Neto's last season. Maybe I don't know, because I think he's such a good player to have around as a squad player either way. And I think he's just got so many intangibles that are just so good to have. So I don't think it would be. Isak and Simmons replacing Madueke and Jackson. But then you've also signed João Pedro. So it doesn't quite work as easy as that. Oh, yeah, I love Tiano Barry. Exactly. Another one Newcastle could have gone for. I wonder if Newcastle have a look at Omega as well, because, again, another one from that mould. But again, got to deal with us for it. The reason I keep Nico is he's a known entity. Yeah, I think that's true. Right, let's have a quick refresh. We're on 81 viewers. We're on 56. Can we get that to 75? So we need 20 more, and we've got more than enough people. We've got more people in here than I want likes. So 75 should be easy. 75 should be easy. Just going to quickly save these so I don't forget. So I don't forget what I was using them for. João Pedro will be competing with Gittins. But then you've just said about Simmons as well. So who's Simmons then competing with? Because you said he's replacing Madueke. So you think Simmons plays off the right? So you then have Esteban, Neto, and Simmons. If anything, it's the other way. It would be Simmons competing with Gittins. Who gets more minutes this season? Simmons, I think, just because again, a bit like Esteban, I think that I just don't think Simmons is going to come and sit behind Palmer. I don't think it's as simple as that. Sorry, I didn't see that, Mr. Laz. Would I take Isak over Simmons? I mean, probably, yeah. Probably would, because I'd make João Pedro that Simmons role, and and I'd have Isak as the number one striker with the lap behind him. I probably would, but I just don't think it's going to happen. Yeah, what I would do, I think I would. I think I would do that. I think Jackson's the only striker that can receive the ball back to goal, spin his man, drive 30, 40 yards. Yeah, he's definitely a distance carrier, and he's the one that can do that for us for sure. Palmer we rested a lot this season and we sub more often. I agree with that as well. But again, I think Simmons, I don't think he'd be so dead set on coming to Chelsea if that was going to be his role. Like I said, I think he can play. I think he will play in the 10 instead of Palmer at times, but I think there'll be a lot of times where you see them both together. Who do you think are guaranteed starters this season for every game, assuming they're fit? Colwill, Casado, Palmer. That's pretty much it. Like Cucurella, I would still say, even though with Hato, I would say that is near enough it. Because like even Enzo, like tactically, he will start more often than he doesn't, but tactically you can do more now with that. So yes, but that's tough. It's tough because it all depends on form as well. Ironically, wasn't the Simmons role what JP? Yeah, it was. Yeah, that at least that's how I saw it. We've got so many attacking qualities, so many. Thoughts on Cucurella occupying the width? Yeah, I think he can do it. I think same as Hato. I think neither of them want to be pinned out there wide, but they can make those runs as supporters, as platformers for Simmons. So I'm not against it at all. Not against it at all. Pardon me. We've got 65 likes. We need 10 more. With 85 in the building. Keep the questions coming in. We're going to go for about 5 more minutes before we end the stream. Assuming nothing else has happened. Exactly, Will. Exactly. Press on the likes. Why wouldn't you? Will Lavia, Santos, Simmons midfield work? What do you mean, Stella? No TV? No. Would it work? Would it work? I mean, depends what for. Because again, Casado's he's going to start every game, but Santos in the Enzo role, Lavia essentially in the Casado role, but with a bit more sort of deeper responsibility, which Casado still has. Simmons, so yeah, like functionally, it could work definitely. Yeah, just depends what for. Not about Chelsea, but how do you think TK and Isak play together balance-wise? I think I'm going to make a video about that on the second channel. So again, I will tag it again just before we end the stream. Please do go follow that video, that channel, if you're intrigued in all other tactical analysis. With all those videos, they won't be Chelsea-based because this will be the Chelsea-based channel. But all of the videos that I make on that other channel, it will still be with the aim to provide tactical understanding for every other team in the Prem and every other, even teams outside the Prem. I want to do a big Como video this year because they're probably my favourite team to watch, like outside of Chelsea. But do follow, subscribe, and support this other channel, which will have all those videos on, including a video about Isak and Ekitike playing together. Oh, okay, it was a typo. All good. Yes, I do think he can, but video will be out tonight, Kalius, to do with Hato. A Hato special tonight. Just from a general summer perspective, do you think Isak, where'd that go, is the last big name to move? Probably not. I mean, maybe in the Prem, but like Rodrigo probably still goes. Yeah, there's so many sort of twists and turns, isn't there, that who knows? And like Will is saying, and like Raccoon saying, this season is going to be crazy. It really is. I think I misread Thomas because he joined and said hello, didn't he? So let me just big up to Thomas. What's up? I'm good. Will Asugo play a lot this season? I think, especially from the bench, yes. So I think his minutes will be fine, yeah. And in cup competition, is like that Casado replacement. Can you see Arsenal win the league? Probably not. I think Liverpool now going as crazy favourites. City bounce back and us as well. Interesting. Your expert saying they should sell Vinny. Because then what? That would be Mbappe on the left then. Interesting. Wonder if Rodrigo's going enough to get to Real. Is enough to get Real in for Isak. Yeah, because that's the other thing. If Isak then goes to Real, meaning that Rodrigo leaves, then do we think that Rodrigo then goes to Liverpool? Like, do we think that either way, Liverpool make a big deal still of Rodrigo or Isak alongside Ekitike and Wirtz? Do we still think that happens? No, Raccoon, no. Because fantastic. I'm watching tomorrow. So no spoilers. So I'll cry. I'm going tomorrow. And I'm so excited. I was meant to go tonight, but the people I'm going with are busy. And I said I'd wait, even though I want to go tonight, because I don't want it spoiled, because I'm so excited. Yeah, okay. Good. I just think that Arsenal, they're going to be the kings of staying around because of the defensive sort of what they've got, like in terms of everything. I just think that they're going to be in competitions like Champions League as well. As much as I hate them, I just think that they're going to be the kings of staying around and being close to something. So let's see, but like I hope not. Right, I'm going to do a quick refresh. We're up to nearly the hour mark. Kukura and Hato, how good would that be? Would much rather have Liverpool get Rodrigo than Isak. Fair. We're on 66 likes. Can we get... no, that's not right. 9 more. We're about to end in 2 minutes. Can everybody really quickly on your way out or just you're about to leave, drop a like to help us get to 75 before the video ends? Please. Player to player combined 11. Yes, I will 100% be making Cesc Como videos on the other channel because I want to do multiple because I love Como. They're under Cesc, Como is like my favourite team to watch. Love them. But we probably do. Like, who gets in? Saka's guaranteed. Raya. Saliba. Probably Gabriel. Maybe Rice. I don't know. It's so tough because like Casado's in obviously, and then like the midfield, it's close. Gyökeres as well. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. You don't think Saka gets in? That's kind of crazy. But yeah, Gyökeres as well. Thank you, Will. It just looks interesting now, doesn't it? Like, is it even possible for Liverpool to get Isak? I think so. It looks like it. Right, we're on 70 likes. I think we're going to... No, I'm not saying Rice over Enzo. That's what I mean. It's still tough. I think either way, I agree. I think 6-5 Chelsea is probably like where it ends up, depending what way you go with it. But it probably does end up with 6-5 to us. For the right wing for England, it still has to be Saka. If you're going to like Palmer in the 10, with Bellingham as like a box to box, that's what I want for England. But we're going to end it there. Like I say, support the other channel if you've seen it. We'll probably upload. I think I'm going to re-upload the Rashford video on that channel. So if you haven't watched that, wait for it to come out on that channel, and any support on that would be brilliant, because that again would help the algorithm on that new channel. I'm also going to be uploading all my shorts on the new channel. So again, go over to that for like YouTube shorts, like daily YouTube shorts, probably over there. So yeah, we're already up to 16 subs. I will literally link it one more time just to make sure that it's at the top of the screen as we leave. But yeah, big up to everyone, as Will says. Here it is for the last time as we are about to end. Please leave a like as you're leaving the stream as well. Really help. Thanks, bros, to another crazy news day for Chelsea. Yeah, and Hato video out tonight, so don't miss that either. So I'll see you guys very soon. Thanks for the support.